Are you recovering from being a people pleaser? Shifting from the energy of others to the energy of yourself, getting to know yourself, and wondering what to expect on this new journey and how to navigate towards your own authenticity. Well, I want to share some of my own experiences of what I have gone through on my own journey towards my own authenticity. Okay? Number one, the guilt of saying no. So for a long time, you were so used to saying yes, even if you meant no. And this was your programmed way of being. And so now that you have started to say no, you might be feeling feelings of guilt and worry and responsibility. And these are all your older beliefs and ways of thinking that kept you in that older people-pleasing energy. Now, I'll give you an example. So for me, if let's say, somebody asked me for help and I said no and I set my boundary, right? And that's step number one, is actually taking that first step of saying no. And so I would do that. But then afterwards, I would feel bad and think to myself, well, what if they don't get help? What if this happens to them, that person, or that happens, or, and so this would be the dialogue going on in my mind. And I just want you to know that this is a normal process or transition into your newer way of being. I ended up catching myself trying to justify or trying to find a thought that would make me feel better. Like, okay, well, I know that person will help them probably. So, oh, yeah, okay, that person will help them. Okay, I feel okay. I just want you to know this is kind of like, this is the same thing that you've done before. It just is dressed differently, disguised differently, but it's the same thing. You're still trying to talk yourself into the fact that this person's going to be okay, because somebody else will help them. So then what I ended up having to do was asking myself, well, what's the worst case scenario in this situation? What if nobody helped them and this happened to them? Well, then if that happened to that person, then I have to process that and be okay with that. Not happy that something like that would happen to that person, but I can't end up feeling responsible for whatever it is that might happen to somebody or a situation if I don't intervene. Because this was the whole pattern of behavior before with being a people pleaser, is that you feel responsible for everything other than yourself. And that if you didn't intervene, then, and something happened, it would be your fault. Okay, so this is all a part of the guilt of saying no, is this whole process and mental narratives and things that go on after you say no that you have to kind of get through in order to feel okay. So the guilt of saying no, and also recognizing that something might break down. Somebody might, actually have to learn from their mistakes in their life because you weren't there to pick up the pieces. So that's one thing that you might be going through right now, and how to navigate and to sit with those feelings of guilt without going and stepping in, right? And sometimes you'll have to I was out in my truck the other day, and when I got home from being out doing something, and I was going back and forth in my mind with so many different things of my old feelings of guilt and my new feelings of that's their journey and this is mine. And so it might take some time, but I ended up getting through it and not actually feeling responsible for this person. Okay? Number 2, shifting from needing to be seen to just being you. for the longest time, as a people pleaser, you were always used to this type of energy where you always wanted to be seen or noticed or validated. And now that you are coming out of that energy and more towards your own authentic self, you might be feeling a little confused or just out of place. And so what I want to let you know is this is normal, and it's because of that old patterned way of being, of constantly looking outside of you. And now what you'll start to notice is that when you're around people, you actually start to feel like okay. Whereas before, like myself, I always felt like I don't know, always had to say hi to everybody, ask how everyone's doing, because I wanted to be seen as the nice person, the good person, or whatever. I just needed to be validated and noticed by people. And that, looking back now, was very draining, obviously. And now that I've stepped into this newer energy of not needing to be seen, I'm acknowledging that, like, everyone doesn't need to know who I am. I don't need to say hello to everybody and ask how they're doing, and if somebody doesn't like me because of that, and this went through my mind, I was like, but that's okay, because, like, I know who I am deep down inside, and that I love with my whole heart and my whole being. I don't need to go around proving that to everybody. Whereas before I did that, I always felt like I had to check in with everyone, or, I almost thought that my personality, like, that's who I was, like this kind of clingy, social person. But it wasn't. It was that people-pleasing energy of, like, having to be validated, noticed, and noticed to be the nice person, the good person, okay? So shifting from needing to be seen to just being yourself, I feel very at home, and you might start to notice this. And if you haven't, then you can look forward to feeling more comfortable just being yourself and not having to kind of like reach out all the time. Oh, wow, like this energy, right? Like, just now I'm just like I'm chill, like I'm good, and I feel better about it. Okay? Number 3, rediscovering who you are. It went through my mind where I was like, who am I behind all of this, or without this people-pleasing energy? And I want you to know that you yourself were always there underneath all these layers, and to not worry or be afraid that you won't find yourself. And that slowly over time, the more that you are in this energy of just being with yourself, the more you start to notice who you are, because you're paying attention to yourself now instead of paying attention to what other people expect of you or what you think they expect of you or want from you. Now you're looking at yourself, you're being the observer of yourself, looking at you. Just like how you were looking at the other people before, you're looking at you, and you're just like, wow, oh, wow, like I'm pretty cool, I'm pretty funny, like, yeah, like that's how I've been feeling, just better in myself. And the more time that you spend with yourself too, and the less time you're giving all of your energy to other people, the more you will just naturally build that relationship with yourself. So don't worry so much about that, and just settle into this newer way of being. Everything else will fall into place, and the important aspect of that is your faith and trust in yourself and your journey to authenticity. Number 4, trusting your own energy. So what I noticed recently was that, looking back in all of my years of people pleasing and putting others before myself and not so much focusing on myself completely, I always felt this gut feeling, or I just always had feelings about, I don't know, people or situations, but I never trusted them. Or I would like talk to somebody else about my feeling about something, and then they wouldn't agree with me. And so whatever anybody else said, to not disregard, I mean, they're just telling me what they thought about something, I would take their word over my feeling, my own energy, intuition, gut feeling, whatever you want to call it. And now that I'm more in my own energy and focused on myself, I notice, like, I think back to all, I don't know, situations or people or jobs or whatever, and like how they ended up turning out. And I think back to how I felt about that person or situation or job or whatever. And I was like, wow, I was right every single time. The feelings that I felt, I was always right. But I just wasn't listening. And I think that's what happens to children like ourselves that grow up being very empathic because our emotional needs or things weren't reflected back to us. So we tend to focus our energy on other people so that we can act in a way so that we can get love or whatever it is that we need back, right? We are programmed to be sensitive, I think, unless you're born with it or something, but programmed to be sensitive to the environment and the energies around us. And so, yeah, I mean, I was always sensitive to that and I still am, but now on my journey back to myself, okay, I'm recognizing this, and now I'm like, damn, like, I'm good. Like, I can feel the energy, like, I'm usually right about how I feel, but now I'm starting to actually trust those feelings that were always there. A part of being a people pleaser was not trusting yourself at all. And so when you start to step into your own power, you recognize that you literally were powerful the entire time. And so you're like, you don't even really have to work on anything. The only thing that you have to do now is to actually trust your feeling and to go with that. And to also acknowledge that everyone can have their own feeling or intuition or thought or whatever as well. You can accept that, but you don't need to take that as something that's for you, and you can separate that as that's that person's thoughts. I have my own feeling and I'm going to trust what I feel. And number 5, what starts to happen when you start to align with your true self? So before, when you were a people pleaser and you were saying no to your own energy and to you and saying yes to everything else, your energy field, to my understanding, was like confused and scattered and not in alignment and coherent, right? Like even the functions in your body, when you're saying no and not looking after yourself, like your body starts to, like your immune system starts to weaken and to like shut down and get sick and not feel good and get depressed, right? So if that's happening to a people pleaser, then you can imagine what happens to your energy field when you're a people pleaser. And so when you start to align with who you truly are and say yes and to your own self-worth and to yourself, everything starts to align, not just biologically, but energetically. And they say when you're in complete coherence, your mind and your heart and energetically, you start to attract everything that's meant for you in your life, people, situations, everything that is aligned with your vibration in your energy that now is going to start to be more coherent. And when it's coherent, then the universe can understand, oh wow, Kylie likes, I don't know, rainbows or whatever it is, like whatever it is that you like or you desire or that you emit, then your environment is going to bring you that and align you with that which you are vibrating with. Like now that, let's say, I'm not going up to everyone and saying, hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going? How are you? Oh, boo. Right? Where then my energy was just scattered to everyone, attracting everyone, which you don't want to attract everyone. You want to attract people and situations that are you truly desire deep down. So now that I'm not saying hello to everyone, as an example, and I'm just kind of like sitting back and chilling, and like, you know, somebody walks by where I'm just like, oh, I really feel like I connect with that person, and going naturally up to them because I feel genuinely connected or attracted to that person's energy, right? Because we are in alignment somehow. So maybe by me doing this, now I'm creating maybe a relationship or an opportunity that with this person or even situation that is in alignment with how I feel. And now something's going to happen from that, you know, just as an example. Instead of spreading your energy everywhere, just following where you feel aligned or connected, okay? I hope that made sense. So your life starts working out because you're in coherence. Your mind, your body, and soul are all in alignment. You're living in integrity, and that is magnetic. It's not about so much becoming someone new, but it's about returning back to who you always were meant to be. That's the shift, and that's the power. And it all started when you chose you. If you liked this video, I think you would like another one that I have called Stop Giving Your Power Away and Start Living Consciously, linked above. I hope you loved this video, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and remember to stay mindful.